Hedake Studios presents Girl on Fire, a play written, directed and produced by Michael Anthony Rogers.
It was a miserable day in the city. The sky was gray and rain fell lightly. Puddles were dotted around like artillery fire and the air was damp and muggy. The sound of cars and busy streets could be heard in the distance. I was walking to work through the worst neighborhood I knew. The streets are barren. This used to be a busy area. However, since the new highway, this place went to shit. Most shops are boarded up and some are smashed in. I worked in a small convenience store and today was my last day. I was moving into better things in the heart of the city. The day was just like any other. That's me, walking through the puddles with my hood up. My name's Eleanor, but most people call me Ellie. I took my jacket off and placed it behind the counter like I normally do, and it took a moment to reflect. Come on, Ellie, you gotta do this. Just one more day. One more day. I walked to the big glass doors, unlocking them and turning on the sign that reads open. Now I just had to wait for...
Hey, Ellie. How was the open?
Jessica. Oh, Jessica. She's my best friend and roommate. She was working with me on my last day, and I couldn't have asked for a better best friend. She was always ready to help anyone who needed it. She's an angel. Fine. Still as boring as ever.
Well, chin up, girlie. You leave tomorrow. Talking of leaving, you'll be leaving little me all alone.
Jess, come on. We live together. I can't get away from you.
Yeah, well, shut up, you. Is it such a crime to want to spend time with my best friend?
No, of course not. To be honest, I don't know what I'll do without you. The idea of working in a big studio full of people? It scares me.
I know, Ellie. But you know where I am if you ever need...
Breakfast. I need breakfast. Be back in 2.
I was never one for sentimental, emotional conversations, so I usually try to avoid it, and in this case, I freaked and ran to the back storeroom and stuffed my face full of Twinkies. But today, something strange happened. The silent alarm tripped, and I only noticed because of the obnoxiously bright red light that starts flashing in the storeroom. And with that came a loud crashing noise from the shop floor. So I ran out to investigate, and to be honest, I really wish I hadn't. I froze. There were 3 burglars shoving stuff into their bags, and they had Jessica and the 2 customers tied up behind the counter.
Just grab everything you can. Avoid the food.
Got it.
At this point, police were skidding onto the street, surrounding the shop. One police officer got out of his patrol car and proceeded to shout over a megaphone, like that's gonna help the situation.
Come out! Put your hands in the air!
They were panicked. Whether or not they were just unlucky to pick the only tiny shop on the street with a silent alarm, they definitely had no way out. Or so I thought.
Shit! What are we gonna do? We need another way out.
I think I just found one.
One of them grabs Jessica and attempts to take her to the front door. She refuses and struggles. In return, they hit her. I panicked. I wanted to do something, but my body was frozen with fear. I couldn't move.
Come here!
No! Wait! No, let me go!
Eventually, one of them saw me. He ran over, kicked me down, and tied my hands behind me with cable ties. He put me with the others behind the counter. I could see Jessica through the counter glass. She looked so scared, and I kept telling myself it's my fault she's there.
Now stay there and be quiet. Mr. Black, everyone's tied up. What's next?
We're gonna take a hostage. Now, little miss, what's your name?
Jessica.
Well, it's your lucky day. You're our plan B.
You're... what? Ah! No, please!
Now, are you ready to play ball, Jessica? Mr. Pink, take her.
What? Why am I Mr. Pink?
Because you're an idiot, alright?
Come here.
No!
Stop struggling, bitch!
Ow! Please stop!
I couldn't handle it. My fear turned into anger, and the cable ties binding my wrist started stretching. The noise of knuckles hitting skin and bone got too much. I jumped up, shouting at them. Everyone went silent. The one they called Mr. Black slowly walked towards me, grabbing me by the throat.
Look at her. She can hardly stand on her own feet. I bet that little body of hers can't take much more. Would you rather take her place?
I looked at Jessica. Tears were streaming down her face. Her lip was busted and her nose was bleeding. She couldn't take much more.
Yeah, I would.
No, Ellie.
It's okay, Jess. Everything's gonna be okay.
I hate to break up this friendship, but I really couldn't care less who we take.
Me. Take me.
Well, we have ourselves a winner. Mr. Pink, let her go.
Thank you.
They pulled me into the snack aisle, concealing their actions with tall shelves. It was dark and smelled horribly of cheese.
Come here.
Why are you doing this?
Well, we can't leave without a plan B. Considering you volunteered, you need to look the part.
I bet you think you're such a hero, don't you?
Saving that girl? What is she? Your girlfriend?
I've been punched before. That was by the kids when I was in school. And this was different. With one punch, he bust my nose instantly. My eyes started watering like crazy and my nose bled like a fountain. It hurt more than anything I'd ever felt. He punched me over and over.
Please, stop.
He stopped for a moment, and for a second, I thought it was over. But as I looked up at him with watery eyes, he was looking down at me, smiling. It was at that moment I figured out I preferred getting punched repeatedly than whatever he had planned next.
It's a shame. I have to ruin such a pretty face.
Stop this. Stop this.
He got really close to my face, licking my right cheek. His hot breath and wet tongue made me want to throw up. He pulled away for a second like he had a light bulb moment. Looking towards his colleagues, he shouted,
Mr. Pink, Mr. Blue, look for a back door.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I was in trouble. He looked at me and gave me a terrifying, creepy smile.
I have a bit of business to attend to.
He punches me again, this time in the stomach. It knocked the wind straight out of me. Mr. Black, as they called him, leaned in and kissed my cheek. I was scared. My legs were shaky and I couldn't move. I knew what he wanted. If I didn't do something soon, he'd get it. With one hand on my throat and one hand free, he unbuttoned my shirt halfway. I lashed out.
Get the hell off of me!
Stay still!
Ah! He buried his head in my neck, and all I could do was get angrier and angrier. I could see Jessica with the others. She was battered and bruised all over. She was staring directly at me with a look I've never seen on her face before. I needed to do something. I was so scared, but I took a deep breath and relaxed. Closing my eyes, I let the anger take control of me. I snapped. With the strength I never knew existed, and with one large exertion of force, I broke out of the cable ties, snapping them like some sort of silly string and pushing Mr. Black off of me. He was stunned. So was I.
How the hell did you break those ties?
Don't touch me.
I've had enough of you. Come here!
I said, don't touch me!
This time, the rage filled my body like hot lava. With an uppercut so quick, I struck Mr. Black in the jaw. His feet came out from under him, and he flew through the air for what seemed like minutes, until he smashed into the ceramic tiles of the shop floor. There was nothing but silence. One of his dumb lackeys noticed and comes running over.
What the hell? Mr. Black, get up! You little fucking bitch! Mr. Blue, get in here!
What do you want? Oh crap! Is he?
Dead? I haven't got a clue. Just get that bitch!
Hell no, man! I ain't touching no woman!
Oh, you pussy! Come here!
Mr. Pink dropped his bag of stuff and tried to grab my arm, but My natural instincts kicked in, and I smacked his hand away and grabbed him by the collar, kicking his feet out from under him and pushing him to the ground, pinning him.
Oh shit!
He was squirming like a worm, but I had him pinned to the floor. I raised my right fist, keeping it in the air for a second as I stared into the masked man's eyes. Fear flooded them like tears.
You would do the same to me.
I punched him with all my might, and deafening cracking sound flooded the store. He fell still instantly, my hand shaking from adrenaline. I punched him again and again. I got up and looked around, surprised at my own ferocity. I see myself in the sunglasses mirror. My knuckles were covered in warm blood and gore, my face spattered with blood. Mr. Blue, as they call him, panics, drops his bag, and runs for the door.
Oh shit! I'm out of here!
I stood up, blood dripping down my face, panting like a dog. After a brief moment of shock, I freed the hostages by snapping the cable ties. I was surprised by my newfound strength.
Is everyone okay? Are you hurt? No, I'm not gonna hurt you.
I turned to Jess, freed her wrist, and she immediately backed away. She looked scared of me. I wanted to hug her, but every time I edged towards her, she backed away. Broke me.
Jess, are you okay?
Eleanor, I'm sorry.
Then she ran from me. My best friend. The only person in the world I needed. And she ran away from me.
Jess, just wait.
More cops turned up and a crowd had gathered. At that moment I felt relief, but it was swiftly dismissed once I realized that I stood around bloodied bodies covered in their blood. I knew the cops will never believe me. I didn't get much time to react. They ran in, guns first, and shouting.
Police! Put your hands where I can see them!
Police! Get down! Get down!
I was frozen again. I didn't want to go to jail. The shouting seemed to fade into a whine. I panicked and ran for the back door.
Get down! Hey, stop! Stop running!
When I got to the back door, it was locked. I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge.
No, come on!
I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I knew I'd either be shot or go to prison, and I didn't want either of those. I tried to handle one last time, and the handle snaps off completely in my hand.
What the hell?
So, stepping back, I attempted to kick the door down, and to my surprise, it came completely off the door frame, slamming into the ground. Once the door was down, I ran for my car, pushing my legs as far as they would possibly go, but they hurt me. And I was fighting a losing battle within myself.
Police! Stop!
Stop, or we will shoot!
Come on, Elle, faster.
In one last exhaust of effort, I pushed through the pain and ran faster.
Come on, keep going.
I hurt, and as I got close to my car, I felt as if lightning tore through my legs. Then there was a white flash. Instead of my car in front of me, I could see bushes and fields. So I stopped running, falling onto the ground. My shoes on fire and hair windswept.
Where the hell am I? Trees, bushes, fields. I was just in the city. Where's my damn car?
I was on a long, empty road surrounded by bushes, trees, and barren fields. I got up frantically, putting the fire out and looking around. I noticed the road sign, half covered in bushes.
Los Angeles, 40 miles.
I freaked out. I didn't know where I was or how I got here. I didn't know what happened. But I knew I got here somehow. So maybe I could get back the same way? Breathing slowly, I composed myself. Looking at the sign, I closed my eyes and crouched in a low sprint position. I took a deep breath in, tensed my fists, and launched as if I was sprinting. I felt the lightning flowing through me again, but this time it was bearable. Arriving at my apartment, I rummaged through my pockets frantically for my keys. I stumbled into my apartment like a bull in a china shop. I was scared. I ran upstairs, grabbing my rucksack and packing clothes and a few snacks. On my way past the bookshelf, I saw a photo of myself and a stubbled man. The photo was from 2 years ago, but it seems like a lifetime ago. I grabbed it, packing it into my bag and leaving through the back door. I locked the door in a hurry, ran towards the car park, turned the corner, and bumped into a man. It was Eddie. I immediately embraced him as if it were my last day on Earth. He was the only friendly face I had seen in the incident.
Eddie!
Eleanor, are you okay?
No, I'm not. Something happened.
The news. They're saying you set off an explosion in the store.
What? No, I wouldn't do that. Jess works there. Oh God, Jess.
Collapsed onto both knees. What if Jess was caught in it?
Whatever happened, your face is all over the news. The police are looking for you.
But I didn't...
Elle, you know you can't stay. They'll come straight here.
Where will I go? I panicked and packed a bag, but I didn't think that far ahead.
You can come to mine.
Will Anna mind?
She moved out about 5 months ago. But we can't keep talking here. We have to leave.
We left my place in a hurry, got in Eddie's car, and sped off. I felt oddly safe with Eddie, even though I hadn't seen him since we broke up. I laid down in the car, and Edward covered me in a jacket. He smells exactly like I remember.
Eddie, why were you at my apartment?
Well, like I said, they're saying it was you. And I knew for a fact it couldn't be.
Thank you for believing me.
Of course, Elle. You might be my kind of crazy, but you're no liar or a killer.
But I did hurt people. Bad people.
Everyone hurts somebody. I mean, I hurt you.
Eddie, that was 2 years ago.
And it's haunted me since.
Me and Eddie broke up 2 years ago, after he cheated on me at a party. It was not a great year for me.
I forgive you, Eddie.
I smiled at him and he smiled back. A rush flew over my body, something I hadn't felt in what seems like forever. We reached the house and parked on the driveway. The house hadn't changed a bit. When we walked inside quickly, Eddie had his arm around me. I sat down on the couch while Eddie closed the curtains.
Elle, you can stay here as long as you like.
What's gonna happen to me? I saved them. I saved Jess. I didn't kill...
Look, Elle.
Oh God. What's happening?
Eddie came and sat next to me with his arm around me. It felt good. I felt the warmth of his body and he leaned into me. He hesitated for a moment and kissed me on the head. I felt safe, so I hugged him tightly. Then, as he hugged me, I felt a spark. A shiver shot down my spine.
Elle, I love you. I'm sorry about before. I didn't mean to.
Even after everything?
Even after everything.
I couldn't stop smiling, knowing he still loved me. I put my head on his chest and let the chaos of the past few hours drift away into the evening. I shut my eyes for a split second and drifted off into a deep relief sleep. I wish I hadn't slept at all. I was awoken suddenly by a loud crash. I sat up and looked around. Realizing I was alone, I looked at the clock. It was 9:32 p.m. Another crash came from the kitchen this time. Something was not right, and I ran in. I saw a sizzling pan on a stove, and a man I'd never met before sat at the table. He was tall, broad, and dressed in an expensive-looking suit.
The new girl.
Who are you, and where is...
That is no way to speak to your superior. I am the Imperator, and it's nice to finally meet you.
That doesn't explain who you are.
I control a company of professionals that hunt down things like you.
Things? Like me?
Yes, they call you Imperiums, but I like to call you freaks. But nevertheless, these Imperiums are people with extraordinary powers. That is why I am here.
But I don't have powers.
Well, that's not what I saw. I seem to recall cups opening fire, and last time I checked, humans don't reflect bullets.
What? I didn't get shot. I didn't do anything. I didn't kill anyone.
Oh, I know you didn't. But I did.
You did? The explosion was you?
I had to cover your tracks. But I digress. My company and I don't like these Imperiums, so like I said, we hunt them.
I'm not even one of them.
Oh, you don't have to convince me, little bird. You just have to show me.
He gestured towards the other room, and 2 thugs walked in holding Edward. His mouth was taped shut and his arms were together.
Eddie? You motherfucker, let him go.
Now, little bird, don't do anything you'll regret.
Oh, I won't regret it.
And you said you didn't have any powers.
Wait. Let him go. If it's me you want, take me. Just leave him alone.
You see, my goal, my purpose on this rock, is to rule Earth with a steel hand. I will be a god to these people, and I will shepherd them into a new world.
You're fucking delusional.
Possibly, but the hardest choices require the strongest wills.
The Imperator placed down the glass and walked towards me. He was a giant mass of a man.
I will be back for you, little bird. So remember, don't mistake my kindness as weakness.
He looked over at Edward with a sinister smile when I started to get angry again. This time, lightning tore through my whole body. I felt like I was about to explode.
Oh, I almost forgot. You see, in order for me to kill you, first, I must break you.
He grabbed Eddie by the throat, lifting him off the ground with one hand. He held Eddie's squirming body in front of me. He brought his arm back, while smiling at me. At that moment, I knew Eddie was in danger. But before I could lift a finger, he punched through Eddie's chest, holding his still-beating heart in his hand. Thick, warm blood and gore splattered on my face, dripping down my chin and covering my rosy cheeks. He tossed Eddie's body to the side like a discarded wrapper. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit him. He leaned down, taking hold of my arm, and placed my poor Eddie's heart in the palm of my hand. I just got him back, and quicker than lightning, he was taken from me. This time, permanently. Well, now that you're all caught up, it's been 3 years since Eddie was murdered, and I've been on the run since. For years I've been rushing around, taking whatever I fancied, not giving a rat's ass for those I hurt. Yet, when I turn around and look at the course I've run, there's not a man or woman that I love left standing beside. But today, I'm cornered. I have nowhere to go, and I'm sick of running.
Time to face him.
You have been listening to Girl on Fire, Episode 1, a Hedake Studios production, starring Lux as Eleanor Keron, Bethany Bridgman as Jessica Cruz, Zach Mayer, UnityZach as Edward Knight, Max Dark as the Imperator, Mr. Pink and Cop 1 and 2, Anthony Murphy-Jones as Mr. Black, the Police Sergeant and Cop 3 and 4, and Michael Anthony Rogers as Mr. Blue. The soundtrack was written and composed by After Infinity Music. This play was written, directed and produced by Michael Anthony Rogers.